This is Ready, Set, Reiki, a podcast about Reiki, the universal energy life force, from the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, welcoming all systems, all levels, and all lineages. Reiki is a journey and not a destination, and on this Ready, Set, Reiki journey, I refer to myself as a guide rather than a host, as I too am traveling, supporting each other, and learning on this Reiki journey as well. And with that said, I am your guide, Tracy C. Wright. Today, joining me is Maria Teresa Practico-Swanson. Now, she is a woman walking the journey of life, guided by the healing power of love. She is practicing master shamanic healer, and under the brand Emotional Musing, she conducts her healing sessions in person and long distance all over the world. The poetry she channels is meant to inspire others on their own personal healing journey and stands as a testimony of truth by her motto, triumphing over trauma. She has successfully overcome trauma and abuse, an addiction to drugs and alcohol, and an eating disorder. She speaks to audiences of all ages, backgrounds, as a spoken word artist and a motivational speaker. Her work in personal development and self-help can serve anyone on the spiritual path to a higher consciousness and enlightenment of heart and soul. She is well versed in holistic health and understands the importance of obtaining and maintaining the mind, body, and spirit connection. Welcome to Ready, Set, Reiki, Maria.
Hello, Tracy. It's so wonderful to be here. I just love that music. I'm like, ooh, I'm so entranced.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, let's begin this journey together. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I say that God sent me here with all of my sense settings on high. And that was something that I feel really set me apart when I was growing up because I knew I was different. I just didn't know how to necessarily articulate a lot of this. And it's taken me quite some time to, I say, like learn the gears of this vessel. And when I had a spiritual awakening in 2019, my world has never looked the same since. So I've just had a lot of lives in this one lifetime here, overcoming, like you said in my bio, a lot of abuse, a lot of trauma, a lot of dysfunction, chaotic energy, and really learning myself and coming to a place where my being is freeing. That's one of the mantras I use quite often.
Beautiful, beautiful. So in our journey today, you are a master shamanic healer. And with that, when did this come into your life? When did healing work become a part of it? Did it find you or did you find shamanic healing?
Well, I feel that nobody really says, I'm going to be a shaman. That just is not how that works. I believe that I have been a healer in all of my lifetimes.
Mm.
And that was my journey, was to learn how to heal myself because I was doing this work just in a really dangerous way. So when I met my teacher and mentor, I was ready. I happened to be unearthing the pit of my trauma, which was being sexually abused when I was a child. And I was just scrolling through Instagram one day and I see Lindsay Luna and her little advertised post talked about like a free consultation. And so I called her, we scheduled a session. It was over the phone and she performed a soul retrieval and my life has literally not looked the same since. That was just the most beautiful experience for me. But prior to that, I had been, really immersed in my own healing process. I've been in and out of hospitals. I've been on psychiatric medications. I've been in some kind of therapy since I was a child. So there's been a lot of things that I did prior to really being able to journey with my soul and be who I am today. So it's taken a lot of different modalities and a lot of paths to get here. But I feel like doing this work allows me to be me. It's like when I first had my very first session, I said, oh my gosh, I've done this before. Like, this is all so familiar. And now I understand why I am the way I am.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know, so it all made a lot of sense. And it felt like coming home to
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
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 My
It's
purpose.
amazing when, people start dipping their toe, so to speak, into the spiritual modality, and they've come to find that many of these things they have been doing their whole lives. And it
Mm-hmm,
seems so
mm-hmm,
familiar, but they finally have a name for it. I mean, even working, with symbols and certain hand placements, you could look back
mm-hmm.
at your life and think like, oh my goodness, this is what I was doing before I even knew what this word was. And it is just like
Absolutely.
coming home. So I'm glad you
Absolutely.
found your just right, for everything that
Mm-hmm.
you've gone through. And thank you for being so open and transparent about your journey, because your strength and your honesty and boldness is going to help someone out there that's trying to find some type of healing. And that, nicely goes into our next question about misconceptions about a shamanic healer. What are
Mm.
some misconceptions you find as you're navigating through this world where this spirituality is seen in such a different light than what we know it?
Okay. So I like I've had a lot of funny things happen along this, the
Mhm.
last 6 years of being a shaman. Um, there's a lot of interesting connotations that come with it. People ask me, "Oh, do you live on a reservation?" I say, "No, no, I'm a modern day shaman." I've been trained through my guides in spirit. So I wasn't trained by necessarily an elder here. A lot of my
Mhm.
family has passed over. My parents were both older when they had me. So my dad is in spirit. He actually passed over 2 years. I mean, I'm sorry, 2 months before I was anointed. So I just use like everything that is within me. When you were talking about like handsome, I am a dancer. That's how I was trained. So
Mhm.
I've always been somebody who moved and talked with their hands. I said to you before, like, coming on here, I like to sit in a rocking chair a lot.
Mhm.
I am a mover and a shaker. And so I feel that like a lot of times people, see spiritual people as like really quiet and sitting in meditation. And it's like, no, fuck that. No, like I am all of it. I am like
Yeah.
a multifaceted rainbow unicorn. And so sure, like I can be quiet and still and meditate, but I also love to dance. And the channeling aspect of my abilities comes with, the writing. And that is something that's landed into my sessions, which is really unique. So when people ask me, like, what is it like to have a session with you? And I go back to what my teacher has said to me, Maria, you're like drugs in human form, because it's like anything goes. I've got music going, I sing, I chant, I channel light language, I drop in poetry, there's lots of crystals, there's things burning. It's an experience within
Mhm.
itself. And so, but that's really, people who know me well, that's what it's like to be with me in general.
Right. Right.
So I just bring everything I am to the table and we go on a journey. And so it's like whatever you're ready to explore is what we explore. And it's super gentle and it's very profound. It's very deep. It takes, weeks, months, years to process. And it's an ongoing journey. So, I always say to people, like, lay there, be quiet, just don't like rush yourself. This takes a while to process. And yeah, I mean, I'm so grateful for the ability to be this intermediary, to be this channel for the spirit realm. And I know that that's what I was doing prior to knowing that that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it was dangerous. It was dangerous because I was opening myself to a lot that I probably
Sure.
should.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the misconceptions. I mean, there's a lot of things like you're maybe supposed to like look a certain way. Like
Mhm.
I am very much an individual, unique artist. I'm all of it. I don't like stick to one label at all. I
Right.
feel like
Right.
that's what like, most of society wants to put us in. But even like growing up, like I never knew I was autistic. Like I learned that as an adult, and it was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, well that makes sense because I'm so extrasensory, and so they'd have to like tag that on
Yeah.
to just to be able to explain, who I am and how I process. And I just, that to me is a big misconception.
Right,
Um,
right, right.
labels in general,
Yeah.
labels in general, like I like to empower people I work with to say, like, you're not, like somebody who is an alcohol, like you're so much more than that. You're more
Mhm.
than all of these labels that get put upon you.
Right,
You're
right,
love in human form. That's who we are. We're
right.
literally love in human form. And so
Absolutely.
it's about like learning to just embrace that aspect of yourself and just shine.
Right,
That's
right,
that's
right.
what we're here to do, is
Yeah,
just to
instead
shine
of
in all
being
ways.
dressed in head to toe in white and you're
Hmm.
carrying just a drum and that's your only tool.
Exactly, exactly, exactly. I love
And
it.
you're
Exactly.
always
It's
love and
exactly what I
light.
mean.
You know,
Hmm.
I
Oh, I'm not.
also,
I'm absolutely not. I mean, like I am full of, anger and shadow and
yeah,
all of it. Like,
yeah,
and I do wear white a lot. I mean, it's like I do wear white, but I also,
yeah,
like, you see me right now and I don't have my head wrapped, but when I'm
yeah.
working, I have my head wrapped,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. I might be
regardless
in
sort of.
trouble because in my wheelhouse it's all black. So
And you know
my
what?
color
And that's
wheel.
cool too. Like that's cool too. I
Mhm.
wear a lot of rainbow colors. I live in
Yeah,
Florida.
yeah.
I have a very like vibrant personality, so I like to,
Sure,
wear a
sure.
lot of colors in my hair.
Yeah.
So
I always tease. I say that I'm like the Johnny Cash of yoga because I
I
wear black all
love
the
it.
time.
Yeah, I wear
Yeah.
black a lot too when I'm in yoga. Like that's
Yeah.
another thing that you and I
Yeah.
share. I've been practicing
Yeah.
yoga for 25 years. So
Yeah. When you mentioned about, not sitting down, when we talked earlier about the synchronicities we were already seeing, I had just told a client this morning, I have a little yoga space, little intimate shala, and I had a reception desk there, and it was not too big. But I decided one day, you know what? I'm not sitting here. I'm not behind the counter. I'm always moving. This needs to go. And I took a picture. It sold very, very quickly. And my client comes in and she's like, oh my goodness, what happened? Why did you do this? I'm like, you know what? I'm always moving. I said, I'm not sitting down.
yeah,
And
I'll meet you
it
at the
just
door
took up
anyway. I
space.
mean, yeah.
Yeah. And it was just amazing how that piece of furniture being removed opens so much
Hmm.
up, and I'm like, whoa, like, and I put a little
Yeah.
table there instead. And so yeah, and I'm like, okay, this is good, this is gonna work. So I know what you mean about being still, and not being that type of one that has to be in one spot, always walking around, always creating. So very good.
Yes, because everything is energy, right? So that's another
Yes.
maybe thing that people tend to not maybe understand, but everything
Yeah.
is energy. And so
Right.
we're constantly these energetic magnets and sponges, and it's just all like this flow constant. I say
Right.
it's like an energetic soup that we live in.
Very
So
good.
I like to keep everything flowing.
Right. So you're very well versed in holistic health as a healer here, helping many individuals, helping them maintain mind, body, and that spirit connection. But what has been the biggest challenge or struggle you have faced in your own healing journey?
Mm, probably allowing myself to fully be me and to
Mm.
shine. Because in most of our lives here as healers, we were persecuted, we were killed.
Yeah.
And there's just been this feeling of like, oh my gosh, like, and people have even said this to me growing up, like, you're so much, like, you're too much. And so I feel like that has been something to really empower me, because I have
Right.
turned personal pain into my power. And now that doesn't, it's like I know that I'm not meant for everyone and not
Yeah.
everyone's meant for me. And that's okay, because
Yeah.
we all come here with our own medicine, and our medicine will find the right people that need it.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll
So
find your
yeah,
tribe.
yes,
You'll find your
yes.
tribe. So, what do you wish your younger self knew about healing and shamanic work?
Mm. I'd say that for me, patience has been one of my, focused intentions in life. I have a lot of fast moving energy, and I really have a hard time sitting still. So it's a practice me
Yeah.
to slow down, to rest, to see rest as being productive, and knowing that whatever is meant for me is never going to pass me by. It's going to find me. And so I don't have to push so hard. I feel like that's also something I've really, and that's like, a part of our society here, like go, 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 and do, 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 do.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a dancer. I'm an athlete. I've done a lot of races, and I'm a mother, so being busy is a thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so I would tell my younger self to like slow down,
Yeah.
slow down a little bit more. Yeah. Now I would say that. I mean, I'm a free spirited person. I've always been free spirited,
Yes.
but yeah, I think I would have told my younger self to just like breathe, slow down. Everything's going to come to you.
Yeah. It's like that fast fire energy when I would
Oh,
go
yeah.
and get like,
Hmm.
so in Reiki, we have attunements. And then like I have Holy Fire Reiki with that is called a placement. And when I get those experiences, placements and attunements, I end up falling asleep during the experience where others I have trained with, well, they'll go on magical journeys, right? I mean, they see
Hmm.
Jesus and all these magical things. And I'm one of the last people to share in the group because I went out like spirits, like, girl, you're going down for the count because I'm always going, going, going. So, but I know the
That's
subconscious
interesting.
never, rests. And so it's just interesting that because things are in my daily life are so colorful and imaginative, I just took it as
Hmm.
that was that part to slow down and relax. So,
Well, I can relate to that too, because I mean, you touched on it exactly. I have mostly fire energy. I am a
mhm, mhm.
Sagittarian sun and moon. So I
Yeah.
literally like was created to be at odds with myself. I'm a Cancer rising,
Yeah,
but I do hold a lot of placements in the fire signs.
sure.
So I'm aware of that. And when spirit really needs to tell me something, I will be dropped right out. Like I
Right.
just bloop transcend, and I am quiet. And then like sometimes I go, what just happened? But it's all I know, I trust that it all went in as it was meant to. I just maybe am not, you know, as aware as maybe I would be if I'm like dancing. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Yeah.
So when it's time for you to get an energetic tune-up, what qualities do you look for in an energy worker, whether it's a shamanic or other modalities you have explored?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm really incredibly careful with my energetic field. And
Yeah.
the only person who's really worked on me is my own teacher. We've known each other for over 5 years. And so she's the only person I really trust with my energetic field. Recently, I actually did have some Reiki from a dear, dear friend who is practicing Reiki. And so
Hmm.
she's like learning to like take her master. And so I just, I felt comfortable to do that. But this is, that's like years into doing this.
Sure.
I've actually done like some color healing. This was years ago before I like was really aware of my own purpose. And that was really interesting. And before that, I did have Reiki. Like the first, I guess, energy experience was with somebody who was a Reiki master.
Mm,
And my teacher is a Reiki master. So she is like, has both. She is a shaman,
sure.
she's a Reiki master. And I feel like that all translates and comes through in her work.
Right.
Um,
Absolutely.
we all, we're all just different. We all have our own
Right.
medicines. Like I teach this path, and I tell my students, like, you are going to do things the way that you are going to do them. They're going to come through you very differently than they come through me, because that is your magic. So you need to like
Sure.
cultivate your own magic. We're very different healers, she and I. We do things very,
Yeah.
very differently. And that was the beauty of learning this, because she always turned it on me and said, well, how do you see this, Maria? And like, how are you going to tap in? And what are you going to use? And it just built like that. And that's, when I was looking at you and I, like what we were going to talk about, my
Yeah.
writing actually came before the shamanic healing. So Emotional
Beautiful.
Musings was born as a blog and
Hmm.
me sharing my poetry. And then it was like, oh, these are like spells. Like
Yeah.
this is intentional. These are messages. And then they all just
Mhm.
started, feeding themselves into different sessions. So
Yeah.
kind of amazing how all that happens, right? It's just the
Oh,
divine
right,
order of
right.
things.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I mean. This is another, similarity is, even from a child, it was always in rhyming. I was always rhyming,
Mhm.
doing things like that, coming up. So, as you
Yeah.
stand back again and look back at your life, the little clues, the little breadcrumbs that show you,
Yeah.
okay, I'm
Yeah.
going on a certain path. Oh yeah, I do bring in little, and the poetry is set up as the rhymes. I can't stop. Like I wrote a children's book and the whole book's in rhyme. It was like
I love it.
years before I was connecting, with Reiki or even knew what it was.
It's part of who
So
we are.
exactly, exactly. So what advice would you give someone who's just entering spiritual work?
Mm. To really not make other people your guru, your
Mm,
master. We are our own masters. Everything that we seek outside of us is within us. And so there's not like one specific way to do anything. That's the journey of spirit. It's
mm,
like whatever lights you up is what is meant for you. And just to continue to follow that, like I just feel that this is such a unique experience for everyone. And your own soul is the guide.
yeah,
It's not necessarily, you know, a person. It's like a
right.
person in form. It's like it's just there's so much. I think like to really try to quantify like what is a spiritual awakening. It's when you can start to remember who you are
Hmm.
and like your own truth. And there's truth in so many, in so many layers. We're constantly reminded of it. Like nothing is a coincidence. Nothing happens as a coincidence. It's all purposely sprinkled into your life. I call them angel links.
Right.
Um, where like, spirit's constantly trying to get our attention. And so just follow those things, follow the breadcrumbs. And
Right.
once you do that, like by remaining true to yourself, you can never go wrong.
Right. All right. Very good. So what books do you recommend?
Books, like spiritual books.
Any books that have helped you along your journey, that have guided you, supported you, encouraged you, enlightened you?
Okay. I love Don Miguel Ruiz, The Four Agreements. That book was given to
Very
me by
good.
my sister many years ago, and I make a point of listening to that book at least once a year. That is like a great, four agreements to make and keep with yourself.
Mm,
And I also got to meet his son Jose when I was living in
nice.
Utah, and just listening to him share their shamanic culture is just so enlightening and empowering. Being a poet, I love Mark Nepo. I've been reading the Book of Awakening for years. I actually share that with a current student of mine. Like every morning, it's kind of like our thing. I'll just like
Aw.
screenshot it and send it to her. And um, I really like to have that kind of devotional reading. I feel like it's very important to start your day like that. Um, what else? Just I like a lot of art and music. So for me, it's like these days I like a lot of audio. So
Mm,
Clarissa Estes Pincola.
okay.
I might be like transcribing that name, but her books, The Women Who Run with the Wolves, that her storytelling was so enlightening for me and really helpful when I was starting to just like learn about my own inner strength and
Yeah.
power, and being told that like, no, everything you're experiencing is totally normal. And you've just been told to like behave a certain way.
Right. Right.
And you're really just this wild essence. And so go with that. I'm just trying to think of like some other books that are on my Diana Cooper. I've gotten into her books about the dragon realm because I have dragon guides, and so I
Mm,
find her work to be really enlightening and confirming in so many ways. I just started reading a book by Carl Sagan. So like, I mean, there's a lot of things that inspire
Yeah.
me. I have poetry books by Billy Chakta. His work is really beautiful. It's about like inner strength, self-healing. Um, it's just beautiful. I listen to a lot of poets, and I have to like throw in like Jerry Garcia in there because I'm a deadhead at my core. So anything about or by the Grateful Dead, I will consume.
Wonderful, wonderful. So what services do you offer? Do you do classes, events, trainings?
Well, I do mostly one-to-one sessions. That's and they can be over the phone or here in my office in my home. I do long distance rituals where it'll be like a long distance energy session for somebody set based on an intention. I do tarot card readings. I host a monthly live poetry event in our yoga studio, and that's every first Saturday of the month. Um, I do trainings. It's an 8-week journey with me, learning about the art of shamanism and how to take your own magic and cultivate that into your healing practice. Um, I create energy sprays. I do
Hmm.
that. I'm pretty well versed in like choosing crystals for people. Like if I meet somebody and I can like say, you are a desert rose, you are a tiger's eye. That kind of goes hand in hand with the energy spray because I custom make those as
Right,
well. So
right,
yeah,
right.
I do guided
And
meditations.
yeah,
Yeah, I have a lot of offerings. Yeah, you can find me like on a lot of platforms, like with
yeah,
um, my meditations and
yeah. I had
light
a shaman
language.
tell me desert rose actually not too long ago.
Probably
So,
why I constantly know. Yes, yes,
so if you're wondering why that might have popped into your head,
she's a desert rose.
so Doe's desert
Yeah,
rose.
so and the light language is something that has recently come in, actually on Lionsgate in 23. Light
Yeah,
language started pouring out of my body. And so on Instagram and TikTok, I'm now doing light language channelings,
very good, very
usually
good.
at the beach. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Where can we find you if we want to get a session or a service that you provide? Are you online, in person? How do we get in touch with you?
The best way to get in touch with me is through my blog, through my website, emotionalmusings.com. I am very active on Instagram. I post a lot of my stories. I will record a lot of my poetry and put that on social media, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn. Yeah, I'm pretty easy to find. And then once you get on my website, there's like links to be able to reach out to me like through email.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Well, this ends the first part of our journey, and together I'm going to guide you into the next part, which are questions from energy worker students, Reiki students, and listeners. So here we go. Number 1, can you tell me more about your brand, Emotional Musing?
Emotional musings was born from me musing upon energy and
Mm,
emotion because emotions are just energy in motion. And so the poetry for me is how I process the world. It's how I understand life. And somebody happened to just like a random person that I connected with online said to me, your words are really lyrical. Like when you send me messages, they sound like a song. Do you write poetry? And I said, well, I do. And she said, you need to start a blog. Like people need to start like reading this. And that was literally it. It was like she was my human guide to just like plant that idea. And I had no idea what a blog was. And so I started to research it. I created it. And that was it. 2018, Emotional Musings was born. And at some point I'd love to turn it into a book because
yeah.
it documents my journey of healing, my testimony of truth. And so I've got hundreds of posts with like lots and lots of my poetry sprinkled in throughout it. So
Beautiful.
that's what Emotional Musings is. Really, it's just like me. It's me in words.
Right, right. Put it on your 2025 list to get it together in a book. Number 2, how has channeling poetry changed your healing sessions?
Well, like I said, the poetry came before the healing. And so when I started to really like build a session, how I wanted it to look, I was like, oh, I'm going to start with my poem Higher Self. I'm going to start with this mantra. And like it all just naturally landed right in the beginning of session. And then I like created a guided meditation that connects my energy field to my client's energy field, and then boom, we're in. And then we go from there. So yeah, I mean, the poetry is, it's really neat because when I compile the manuscripts, I've self-published 6 of my books, and I have 6 other ones that I want to publish. So when I put the manuscripts together and I read the poems, I'm like, huh, because they all just come so quickly. And so I feel like, depending on which ones and land in the session, they become so personal to that person, which never ceases to just amaze me. And I always say I'm never not in awe of this work that we do and what we're told to share with people and how it touches them. So I feel that like these messages are me just listening to the divine. And that is my mission here, is to just be a vessel for divine messages.
Beautiful. Number 3, when did your motto become triumphing over trauma? And how did this motto change the direction of your business?
Well, again, it all started before I became a business. So I have always looked at everything I do and have shared as me triumphing over the trauma that I've experienced. I've like literally existed and survived hell. Anything that a human being could have experienced, I have experienced. And I've walked through it, and I am here to tell the tale of it. So yeah, I mean, that's it. Like triumphing over trauma, that is me in a nutshell.
Right, right. Well, that is our last question. And as we've been talking, is there anything else that you may have forgotten? I know there's so many more layers to you, and you can take this opportunity to share with our listeners anything that you'd like. The floor is yours.
Oh my goodness. I am going to share with you a poem that I recently wrote called Cosmic Love. Stand with me on the starting line. For where we're going, there is no time. Each rhyme reminds us of where we have been and where we are now going. Stand with me, united in the light. Hold my hand as we dance through the darkness of night. The collective illusions are ending. Fear of one another packs the heart, useless energetic spending. Love leads the way. Harmonic tones begin blending as our souls are ascending. Psychic senses are mind bending. Codes in our human DNA strands are mending. Galactic connection is multidimensionality perfection. Spidey senses are heightened detection. Human beings, simulation and reflection. Transforming humanity's consciousness in a new direction. Welcome, warriors of the higher realms authority. Unicorns, dragons, and Pegasus are magical musings of gifted prosperity. Embrace what was once hidden from a 3D reality. The truth is spoken out of the mouths of returning Aquarian royalty. The new golden era is upon us. Timelines are collapsing. Sacred essence of spirit language speaks in tongues, eternally bonded to source, driven by a cosmic love. Oh no, I lost you. I lost you. I can't hear
Lisa,
you.
thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing that. That's beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
And is there anything else that you wanted to add before we finish our journey together?
I just want to share with listeners that your being is exactly what this world needs. So open your heart, open your mind, and share who you are with the world. Your unique essence is enough, and it's needed. So enlighten in shadow, always with love. Namaste.
Namaste. Beautiful, beautiful. Well, thank you, Maria, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be a part of this Ready, Set, Reiki journey. I really appreciate it, and it's been wonderful to connect with you.
Thank you, Tracy. Thank you very much for having me. It's been wonderful.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, my amazing listeners, if you would like your question featured on Ready, Set, Reiki, reach out at www.readysetreiki.com. I'm Tracy Seawright, and this has been Ready, Set, Reiki.